What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tony the Savant back with another one. Let me do the intro real quick. Shout out to my cousin Hawk. That's the ambassador. Shout out to my boy Jeezy. That's the manager. Shout out to my boy Paulie Corleone, Uncle Paulie Entertainment. That's my right hand man. Shout out to Sharpe. He be in the comments all the time, giving love and support. So shout out to you, Sharpe. I'm gonna put you in the intro as well. I definitely appreciate that. Trying to think of anything. Now, let's get right into the video, man, because I was over here watching the Colorado Buffaloes and the Oregon Ducks game, and it was getting bad. It was getting really bad. So I kind of tuned into this Stephen A. Smith podcast. I think it's the most recent one he dropped with Shannon Sharpe. And as you can see in the visual art, these brothers had a very in-depth conversation about one Skip Bayless. Now, I do want to say this, that we've been hearing so many things, come out of the everybody's camp about what's been going on. That everybody's kind of been speaking on what had been transpiring at FS1 Undisputed. We've heard Jason Whitlock speak on it, Marcellus Wiley, of course, Stephen A. Smith. I don't know if Skip has. I don't listen to Skip as much, hardly ever. But I just listen to a lot of people chime in, as well as some of my favorite YouTubers, Ticket TV, Carcino, Dreamers Pro. Everybody had an opinion about this saga that's been going on. And as well as, and me too. I'm guilty of it too. I've been following this story, this headline for quite some time now, and the developments have been interesting. From Shannon abruptly leaving there, FS1 Undisputed after the NBA Finals, just abruptly leaving, to Kwame Brown. Like, people forget about that situation. Kwame Brown came out. He went at Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe. Then we get into, Undisputed going off air. All of a sudden, I don't think anybody really seen that coming. They've returned. I'm sure everybody knows now. If you ain't been living under a rock, you definitely know that Skip Bayless is back on air and has a new iteration of the FS1 Undisputed show. And just been a couple things transpiring. We've seen Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. link up on ESPN First Take on Mondays and Tuesdays. They've been doing pretty good work over there these past few weeks. Like I said, we've seen Shannon Sharpe reintroduce FS1 Undisputed with Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson, Richard Sherman, Lil Wayne. I think he's been on there once or twice. Allegedly, Rachel Nichols was supposed to be joining the show as well. I have not seen her on there myself, but if you've seen her, please drop something in the comments so I can go check that out. But so far, this has just been what's on my radar. And now that everything is kind of settled and everybody's got their new positions or whatnot, now the interviews come out, and now all the information in the quote unquote truth, or his side of the story, or their side of the story, comes out. And so I'm saying all that to say that Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe did this recent podcast on Stephen A.'s, the Stephen A. Smith Show, I think it's called. And Shannon Sharpe just opens the book, man. Like, I don't know if Shannon Sharpe has even spoken on this situation this openly or this much, but he definitely went into some more details that we have not. That me personally, I don't want to speak for everybody, that I was not aware of. He revealed a lot of information to me, and so I'm gonna share that with y'all. So let's get into the story first. So Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. are talking, woo. And they get into, Shannon Sharpe's experiences at FS1 Undisputed. And so Shannon goes into, basically starts with the morning. He'll be like, yeah, go into their dressing rooms. They got the morning routines. Unless they was going to the restroom, the bathroom, and passing, Skip hardly ever talked to Shannon, which is kind of sad. It is what it is. I'm one of those people that when I go to work and I'm amongst my coworkers, I'm pretty cordial, pretty nice, friendly, or whatever. Have small talk, weather talk type stuff. But to hear that Skip was not like that at all, and Shannon Sharpe said that's something that really disappointed him, that they just didn't have that morning pre-talk before their debates. Whatever, what I mean? He said Skip was like that. He wasn't a big morning person as far as talking goes. Then he goes into When they would actually be on the show, they doing their thing, going to their segments. They get a little break. Shannon would be like, how do you think that segment went? Skip would just get up and leave, go to his locker room, and do whatever he was doing. No kind of chemistry building, no kind of relationship building stuff right there, and just kind of left Shannon hanging dry. Shannon then proceeds to say like they did never hang out outside of work. I think he said they went to lunch once or twice, maybe once in their 7 years and working with one another, and basically just said they did not have a relationship at all. It got to the point where when Shannon accepted that, you know what I mean, and he said that he began to feel like Skip was taking their one-on-one debates more like a heavyweight boxing match. And to that, I'm like, well, that makes sense because Skip is one of them dudes. He's very competitive. He thinks he's Tom Brady, Michael Jordan-esque when it comes to his competitiveness. But the fact of the matter is that Skip has never been successful at a physical sport. And and with that, with that information definitely being real in his head, he overcompensates in the debate realm. You know what I mean? Where you, and I'm sure the most common and diehard sports fan, we're here for, to kind of release our real life routines. Be like, we know we got work, we got kids and family, all that stuff. Yes, but I'm watching sports. This is me. This is my moment. It's what entertains me. I think the sports is like that for a lot of people. It's a release. It's a positive outlet. It's a way to cheer for somebody outside of yourself. Cheer for something that's bigger than just an individual. And even with individual sports, they still have teams, trainers, coaches, all that kind of stuff. So just to kind of cheer and root for something that's bigger than you. That's just what sports is for a majority of people. I don't feel like that's the case for Skip Bayless. And I'm only saying that because of what Shannon Sharpe said, how focused and zoned in he would be over some debates. Now, I know you want to be successful. I know you want to be good at what you do. I get into a mode when I'm into my sports journalist stuff. You know what I mean? My wife knows. She would tell you as well. But it's the fact of the matter that it ain't that serious. I'm sorry, guys. It ain't that serious. Sports and debating, yes, it's all in jest and it's in fun. But it's not that serious, and I'm only saying that's in a direct shot at Skip Bayless. Whereas you don't have to go out of your way to start disrespecting folks. You don't have to be disregarding to people, and that's what Skip Bayless has been over the years. I wish that Shannon Sharpe was an anomaly. That this was the only time that we ever heard of Skip Bayless disrespecting a professional athlete, but we've seen him disrespect coaches, GMs, other players as well. And this is all from a guy that has never been successful at a physical sport himself. I think that's the craziest factor of it all. That Skip talks down on people like Russell Westbrook. You know what I mean? He really talks down on Westbrook as if you would think Skip Bayless had won 6 championships. You know what I mean? You think he had the Jordan resume. He talks down on athletes. You would have thought that Skip Bayless was Tom Brady's personal trainer at that very moment when he disrespected Shannon Sharpe. And also, they went into that as well. Excuse me, guys, I'm all over the place. Stephen A. and Shannon, they went into that exact moment as well. And Shannon said that, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the whole Skip Bayless, put your glasses back on. That viral moment that we all seen a couple months ago go down. Shannon goes into that, and he says that there was a plethora of things that led up into that. But he felt like what ultimately caused that situation is he didn't ever check Skip about his disrespect. That he said that Skip disrespected him a few times before that. You know what I mean? There was things that led up to that actual moment that he said he felt like he should have checked. And if he had done that, Skip probably wouldn't have felt so comfortable of crossing the line as much as he did. So kudos to Shannon, for noticing that was a mistake he made in his past. But ultimately, we didn't need him to say it. We seen it. And I seen it before that moment as well. Skip had disrespected Shannon on multiple occasions, not just Shannon Sharpe. Like I said, he disrespected. Me personally, I'm gonna go a couple people that come off my head as Eric Mangini. I remember him being disrespectful to him. I remember him being kind of disregarding a Mark Cuban, you know what I mean, an NBA franchise owner. Eric Mangini is a former NFL coach, and an NFL genius, if you will. And then we talk about players. He disrespected Chris Bosh, Terrell Owens, Westbrook. Trying to think of somebody else. I mean, he's been kind of disrespectful to LeBron over the years, but y'all know how I feel about LeBron. Not all of his disrespect towards LeBron was unwarranted. But that's another subject for another day. But it's just the point of the matter that Skip has a history, a long history of this disrespectful behavior. And to all of this, man, I just feel like it's time. It is time. Skip is 70 years old, 72 years old, I think he is. He's from a different time, a different world. And I think that the antics that he's been able to get away with over the years, they're just getting old and it's dried up. You know what I mean? And I would be saying this is all just a personal feeling and thought of mine, but men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Skip Bayless numbers are horrible on FS1 Undisputed, y'all. And I got to do another report on them because the last time I reported on them was the first week when they debuted. Fun fact, Skip Bayless has not hit the numbers that he was hitting when Shannon Sharpe was on the show. Now, I'm just going off my last reporting of the situation. I am not a Skip Bayless fan, nor do I watch FS1 Undisputed. And if I do, it's a YouTube clip, and it's usually Keyshawn, Richard Sherman, or Michael Irvin. You know, it's not an exclusive Skip Bayless take I'm listening to or listening for. But the last time I looked at their numbers, Skip had lost half his audience, man. You know what I mean? The first show where everybody was interested when they debuted the new Undisputed after Shannon Sharpe had left, it only had done 130,000 views. When the last episode of Skip and Shannon Sharpe's iteration of Undisputed, it did 171,000 views. So just give you an idea of how the cliff that this show has dropped off on. It didn't even get back to peak. You know what I mean? Back to the peak interest from when Shannon Sharpe had departed. And then by Wednesday of that same week that they debuted, it was only doing 78,000 views. So he lost half his audience in 72 hours. That's just a telltale sign to me that Skip Bayless isn't a draw anymore. I mean, I guess he used to be in his heyday, but he isn't now. And I'm speaking personally for me. If y'all don't mind, put in the comment section if you think that Skip Bayless is still a draw. Do you still listen to him? Are you a fan of his? Et cetera, et cetera. Also, please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. As I do not stop working, y'all are the bosses. We gonna keep going, and this channel gonna keep growing. But let me get back into it. Skip Bayless over the years has developed he's brought onto himself the disdain that people have for him. You know, Skip Bayless has very rarely, I don't think I've ever heard him talk X's and O's. With Skip is always, this guy wanted it more, these guys play harder, this guy quit. Skip talks like that in generalities and doesn't really specify what's going on in the game, if you will. When you actually watch the game and you see the X's and O's play out, it's never what Skip Bayless says. And like I say, Skip Bayless is always polarizing. He's always made his fame and name off polarization, not off being an actual expert of a sport. And he does this in multiple sports. You know what I mean? We've seen him be disrespectful and disregarding to, like I say, I named a number of people: football, basketball, and etc. But I just think it's time for Skip Bayless to get out of the game, man. You know, maybe he can do the Mad Dog Russo thing, you know, get a feature, get brought into a show every so often to give his opinions. But I'm not checking for Skip Bayless any longer. I don't know if anybody out there is checking for Skip any longer. You know, I think I know a few dudes within my sports communities that still rock with Skip, but an overall opinion, nah, I don't hear people running around quoting Skip Bayless. Just me personally. And I've heard people quote Stephen A, NBA players, Matt Barnes, Cameron, Mace, all these media outlets out here, people, bring me information from. It's never from a Skip Bayless take. So just all these things, the numbers, my personal feelings about them from watching over the years, and just seeing how these communities are moving, the ones I'm involved in anyway. I don't see much Skip Bayless traction. And for me personally, I just think it's time for him to get out of the game, man. Skip has gone full disrespectful. He's going full over the top. And I think it was good at one point. It was cool at once upon a time, but people see through it now. And I don't think he's going to get the same clout that he used to get for it. Now people are saying, yo, Skip, get out of here, man. You know what I mean? Especially with this recent Shannon Sharpe situation, because so many people, a lot of the casual fans, y'all understand, the casual fans love Shannon Sharpe. Now, Shannon Sharpe has a fan base among some of the diehard guys, I will admit. But casual people, the casual sports fans love Shannon Sharpe. This is where his star is rising, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people just know him for his crazy antics, his viral moments. But in addition, if you're a diehard sports fan, then you know that, could sit down and actually talk some X's and O's, especially when it comes to that football. Shannon Sharpe is a voice that you gotta listen to, that you have to listen to when it comes to football. So, all in all, Skip wasn't even witty enough to notice that Shannon Sharpe was his cash cow. You know what I mean? He was so prideful and so out of touch with what the sports communities are talking about and doing, I guess, that he felt like he could still thrive and survive without Shannon Sharpe. The numbers ain't saying that. Numbers not saying that at all. They don't reflect that at all. But that's just my take on it, y'all. Apologies for ranting, going on a little long. I've been following the storyline since Shannon was still on FS1 and we wasn't aware that he'd be leaving. I've been very interested in the Skip and Shannon storyline. So just another edition of it. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. Y'all know my slogan, man. Y'all the bosses. I'm the guy that loves to work. Let me get back to work.